promises of God, and that you are believing like never before. I said last week that this year is the year of the believer, the year of the believer, the one who will believe at all costs, regardless of what your surroundings and circumstances will look like. And so Psalm 34:1 says, I will bless the Lord at all times. Monica, good morning, Monica. Thank you again for being here. I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. It's from the psalmist David. He said, I will bless the Lord at all times. And so the year of the believer is going to have to bless the Lord at all times, regardless of what is happening around, regardless of what your circumstances look like. And so this year, what will be the thing that keeps you drawn to the Word and to the Father? What will be your motivation to believe despite how you feel or what your circumstances look like? What steps or processes do you have in place to ensure that your vision to believe is not skewed or influenced? And so when the scripture says at all times, it simply means at all times. And so there's got to be a bigger motivation. There's got to be something bigger than yourself that keeps you believing even when it's hard to not believe. And so the year of 2026, the year of the believer, I need you to understand how serious this is. Because the believer is the one that does not waver when things become uncertain. The believer trusts their situations even when they can't trace them. And the believer sees the bigger picture, remembers the God that they serve, and says, no matter what, I'll trust God. The believer. The definition of believer says a person who believes that a specified thing is effective, is proper, or desirable. Proverbs 10:22 says, the blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow to it. This means that true wealth comes from God and is accompanied by contentment, by peace, and spiritual richness, not anxiety, not toil, and not guilt. And so we got to understand that this blessing isn't just financial, but encompasses spiritual gifts, healthy relationships, and a secure foundation. And so as we're believing, we've got to believe big, bigger than our current situations, that God can do the impossible. And so we cannot put limitations on him this year. We've got to just truly believe that he can, he will. And not just financial. Believing him for peace of mind. Believing him for a healthy, prosperous, fruitful relationships. Believing him that your gifts will be activated and others can be blessed. Believing him for clarity in whatever the case may be. And so this year, at all costs, at whatever it takes, we're believing like never before. We're trusting, we're believing, and we're going all in for him. So just imagine the reward that truly believing yields. If I believe this year, if I move out of my own way, I lock in, I Imagine the things that can happen. Imagine the way God can work in your life. And so this is not the year to be doubtful. This is not the year to be fickle in your believing. This is the year to say, you know what, God, you've did it before. You've come through for so many others, and I know you're going to come through for me. And so when you're blessing the Lord at all times, that's when it's good. That's when it's bad. That's when we're up. That's when we're down. My praise, his praise shall continually be in my mouth. So even when I get the health scare, I'm praising him because I believe things will be turned around. Even when my finances are not adding up, his praise shall continually be in my mouth. Even when things are not desirable or favorable, his praise will continually be in my mouth. Because I believe that the God that did it before is still the same God, and he will and can do it again. And so as you set your sights out to becoming the believer that God expects you to be this year, you've got to find a cause that is bigger than you. Find a cause that is bigger than you. John 14:12 says, I tell you the truth. Anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done, and even greater works, because I am going to be with the Father. So what does this look like? Finding a cause bigger than you, serving, volunteering, mentorship, ministry, something outside of you, something that can bless somebody else. Because as you show up and present yourself as a believer, you make others a believer. I volunteer at a women's and children's shelter 2 times a month. And it is just so interesting to just see, because when we're living in our world, we don't see things that are happening in other realms and dimensions and other places that people are in, and just how affected that people are. But these people have been abused, they've been kicked out, they've been left for dead. And it's so interesting that I find favor and I find desire, and I just find how beautiful God is in that place, because these people, despite their situation, there's still a bit of hope, because they have their children looking up to them. But more than anything, how beautiful it is that I get to share Jesus. I get to pray for them while serving, while doing the work of God. And so even being in that facility allows me to know that God is bigger than our situations. Because if he could protect these women and these children and give them a place to stay and give them food, and the people donate food from all over the city, big events will have leftover foods and they'll drop them off. And I'm like, wow, God. And so we've got to find something outside of ourselves, a cause that's bigger than us. 2, you got to stay in your word consistently and continually. Matthew 4:4 says, but he answered and said, it is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Why is this important? Because you see and you read firsthand his miraculous and his marvelous works. We see what he did, what he does in the word, what he does in the Bible. We see how he protected Daniel in the lion's den. We see how he came through for Abraham and Sarah in old age. We see how he gave Moses the word to deliver the children out of the wilderness. And so as you stay in your word, you see firsthand how important and how real he is. So it keeps you believing. It keeps you knowing that even if the situation doesn't look well, he gonna come through. And third, fast for a reset and to welcome mental and spiritual clarity, heightened intimacy with the Father, and substitute your distractions with prayer and worship. Joel 2:12 says, "Therefore also now, saith the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning." Ezra 8:23 says, "So we fasted and earnestly prayed that our God would take care of us, and he heard our prayer." And so fasting is going to be important on the journey, because it unlocks new levels within you. It gives you the clarity that you need in order to keep running this race. It puts you in a posture of prayer and worship when you could be eating or strolling. It's more time with him, greater intimacy with the Father. And he wants that from you and with you. And 4, walk in it boldly. Do not waver in your believing. And rinse and repeat. And get yourself ready for all that is in store. 2026 can be monumental for you, but you've got to posture and position yourself accordingly. I pray that you were a little more inspired than when you came.